So we're on the Highwind.
I think we are, right?
Is there a name of that ship?
The Enterprise.
The Enterprise, that's right.
It's literally called the Enterprise.
I feel like that's got to be a Star Trek reference, right?
It must be a reference.
In true
Maybe,
every
yeah.
FNFF form, we did not look it up.
Said like Star Trek because we already know that William Shatner exists in this universe.
It's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Science fiction does become science reality, as we all know.
So I guess it's true. We are on the Enterprise.
Yeah, so where did we leave off last week? I was so distracted by those handsome daycare ditto boys that I...
The meeting was over.
Yeah, that meeting was over. Kane has told us we can go get the Troia crystal and then bring it to him, and then he'll give us Rosa. So we're on our way to Troia now.
Hell yeah, which we have, like, not full agency, like any Final Fantasy game. Like, there's limitations to where the airship can go. We can fly all around the world, but there's still, like, forests and shit and, places you can't land.
Right.
I was getting real flashbacks.
Parking regulations.
Yeah. I was getting real flashbacks to Final Fantasy 1, and I was like, oh, right. It was fucking
We're going to have
fun.
a couple flashbacks to FF1 in this episode today.
Yeah.
I actually didn't like fly around the world that much, to be honest with you. I was just kind of like, I know where I'm going. Time to go to Troia, and I pretty much went right there.
Yeah, I was just kind of looking around, and then I found my way to, like, I guess a late game area, like a late game continent, because the enemies there were kicking the shit out of me. And I was like, yo, Peninsula of Power, I should just fucking level grind here. And I immediately just kept getting fucking owned, and I was like, fuck it, it's not worth it. I was like, by the end of this episode, half of these characters are probably not going to be in my party anyway, so fuck it.
Yeah, I know. That always ends up being the way in this game.
I was seeing a lot of bridges around Troia, so I was like worried that I would have to park like far away and kind of trudge my way there.
Yeah, that would suck.
But thankfully, we can just park right in front.
Yeah, there's a nice little, we lucked out. We got the spot before one of the residents who lives there gets it. So
yeah,
yeah. And it's free parking on Saturdays, so we don't have to worry about. We might have to wake up early tomorrow to move it, but
speaking of Saturdays, do you know what comes out the day before?
Friday.
When this podcast drops.
Comes out.
Yeah, I was so worried.
The suspense is killing me.
This is the Every FNFF podcast. You like cold
opens.
opens.
Oh shit! Yeah, we.
We didn't even say it.
This is like Breaking Bad.
Yeah, Gus is in there. We're
gonna say it at the end of the episode. Some title will pop up.
I think it was like one of the last few episodes of that show where like they had like a whole 45 minute like cold open before the credits actually rolled. It's fucking wild.
Vince Gilligan's getting too full of himself, man. We gotta tell him to reel that shit in. Go back to the good old days of making X-Files. A show that mostly sucks.
This Nier Automata, the title only appears after you beat the game and start the second playthrough.
Damn.
That's late into it. Anyway, we have a new party member with us now too.
Sid
Yang.
Polladina, baby.
He's got a hammer.
Wait, what's his last name?
Polladina? Pollandina?
Paladin?
Ooh. Paladina.
Paula Abdul.
That's right. He takes one step forward and two steps back.
He takes one step closer to the edge.
And he has a skill called Analyze, which is basically just scan.
Or like, I think it's called like Libra in some other games. It's pretty good though. Yeah. I like using it.
Yeah, it works on one enemy at a time in the 2D versions, or in the 3D one, it basically acts like scan on a whole party at once.
Oh, nice. That's sick.
Yeah. But he's pretty cool though. I like Sid. He's a physical attacker. You front row him.
Yeah,
he also has a skill called Upgrade, where you can like apply like certain elemental damage to your weapon.
Cool. Very nice.
Oh, that's cool. I don't think that exists in the one that I'm playing, but
you can just like convert your whatever weapon he has equipped to be like a fire weapon. If you have a fire rod, he'll basically take the assets from another weapon in mid battle, which is pretty cool.
That's really sick. That's super cool.
I did check, Carl, by the way. You can change your equipment mid battle.
Oh, nice. Sick.
I did check, so you can do that. And I did that a couple times during this episode to no avail. It did not save me.
Yeah. And speaking of that, I want the record to show, as I was doing my little like traversal around the world, because I'm like, cool, I got an airship and I can finally fly it all around and stuff. I went to a couple towns that I'm like, this is not Troia. Like, I should But I was like, oh, let me check out the item store. And I was like, dang, they got some mithril stuff. Cool. Yeah, let me buy this mithril hammer. That sounds like a really good weapon. I'm going to buy this mithril sword. And then I was like, well, why would I want a stinky old wooden hammer that comes like
let me get rid of
by
this.
by Sid? So I sold it because I had to buy something in Troia that's pretty expensive and totally worth the money.
Why wouldn't
we'll
you?
see. We'll see how that turned out for me in this episode.
I think it's gonna be just fine.
I got a good feeling about this.
Absolutely.
They like Acme, like mallet, like in Looney Tunes or whatever.
But Troy is pretty cool. I feel like out of all the towns we've been to this far, it has like the most stuff to do in it. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah, it's a bustling place.
It is. It's kind of
Seems like they still have a crystal, obviously, which is I think they're the last place, right?
yeah,
Yes.
it's the last crystal. Yep.
Yeah, and like everyone's pretty chill, and like their like bar is filled with people.
Yeah, there's a ton of people in the bar in this place.
There's ladies everywhere.
There are
everywhere.
ladies everywhere.
There's ladies swimming in the river,
There are.
and there is a very creepy old man peeping on them.
There is. There
And
is.
he's
a
like,
very
he tells
creepy
you to
old
like
man.
get lost when he's like find your own spot or something, and it's like, come on, dude.
Yeah, he says find your own spot to watch. And I'm like, ooh.
You can walk around in the river too, and they'll be like, "What are you doing running around in your armor?"
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, it'll rust. I'm like, yeah, that's a very good question. Come on, Cecil.
There's I like that like there's an elevated mound in the center of town, and there's like a woman laying down on it, right?
Yeah,
She's like sideways
yeah.
laying down, and like she's like centered in a way that's very like, oh, this is important. Like this is going to be a scene.
Almost
and then,
looks like she's like in distress, like she was like knocked out or something. You need to go and save her.
yeah, exactly. And then you climb the little mound and talk to her, and she's like, I'm sunbathing, go away.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's really
oh,
good.
okay, my bad.
Yeah, this seems like a good like as we're kind of progressed through this area. It seemed like a very like women empowering kind of town.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Women have a lot of agency.
We do find out that they have a like council of 12 that run Troia that are all women as well.
Hell
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is it 12 or 8? I'm bad at
Oh,
counting.
maybe you're right. It's 8. It's 8.
I think 12 was Final Fantasy 1.
Because of FF1. Yeah. God, that's not the only time that's going to happen today.
Did you bump into a familiar face next to that mound?
I sure fucking did. I hate this guy so much now. I loved him, and now I hate him. But
Carl, you haven't met him, right?
I don't think so. It probably.
This is Jamming Way.
I was gonna say,
Jamming Way.
Naming Way is in this town, but it's the same thing. It's just like, oh, here he is.
So Jamming Way's here.
I forget if it was in this town or a different one that I found where there's just like an empty house that I went into, and I was trying to search around, and there was like nothing to do in there, and I couldn't see in there. So I was just like hitting A or like whatever button it is, who cares, to try and like find a treasure or something. And I hit a button, and it was just like Naming Way. He's like, "Do you want to change your name?" I was like, "Fuck, no, leave me alone."
Hey, buddy. But
Well, the 3D version, Jamming Way's here, and he has given up his EDM career. I guess it didn't take off.
his singing voice.
Yeah, it's not working for him.
He's gone full like sitcom plot line.
He has. He's gone full Three's Company.
He says,
And,
he's like, oh, are you here meeting someone too? And you're like, no, my partners then. I just assumed. I promised 2 different ladies I'd go out with them, having abandoned my music for other pursuits. I suppose I can remain Jamming Way no more. Jamming Way became Cheating Way the 2-timer.
Cheating Way.
Everyone
Cheating
knows
Way
that
the
no
two-timer.
musician has ever 2-timed a woman. There's never
you
been
can't
any
be-
cheating. Yeah,
You can't be both. Yeah.
And he's like, I have to extricate myself from this mess somehow. Please, you have to help me.
I do like that he says extricate.
Yeah, it was like, I need you to go to the pub for me and like basically buy me some time for the first lady that he's supposed to meet. And basically like, while he goes and sees this other lady, like you're gonna like
Yeah,
just
you,
buy him
like,
some time.
Stall,
that's
yeah.
really good.
I mean, yeah, and so you can agree to do this, right? And you can go to the pub and talk to the bartender. So it's the bartender at the pub is who he's going out with, right? And so you go to talk to her, and like there's like a little like conversation begins, and Cecil's like, "Hey there," and she's like, "Yeah, what can I do for you?" And he's like,
Hello.
Could I trouble you for some milk?
Yeah, he's like, can I get some milk? And she's like, yeah, whatever. And then it's just like very awkward. They like are awkwardly trying to start a conversation with each other, and like the screen just fades out so that like it shows you that hours are passing. It's very funny.
In the 3D one, it is like I think the bartender starts like trying to chat, like, is there something on your mind? And you're like, no, not really. And he's like, I see. And then it's in her parentheses, I guess internally, she's, oh, I hope he gets here soon.
Yeah.
and then Cheating Way shows up. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm late. It's like, oh, Cecil, I really appreciate you for doing that thing for me that one time.
For me.
I gave that music box with all my songs to my friend in Chocobo Forest. Yeah, like we predicted that the Chocobo is just offloading.
Yeah.
It's becoming all the ways. And then he gives what does he give you? I forget. No, wait, he doesn't give you anything.
What a motherfucker.
Yeah, so I gave a music box with all my songs to my friend in the Chocobo Forest. I hope you'll consider that my way of saying thanks. Like,
okay. Yeah,
so you, like,
I'm not doing anything for you now, so I hope you appreciate
I'm unemployed. You're welcome.
Yeah,
but you didn't do anything. My work here is done. I love this plan. This is a foolproof plan. It clearly it worked out for him, and then I assume that they go off on their date, and she's like, "Oh, Jamming Way, you're so great. Thanks for taking me out tonight." He's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, that's not my
it's
name.
not my name anymore.
Call me Cheating Way." And she's like, "Wait, what?
Please call me Cheating Way."
Yeah. So yeah, that's Cheating Way.
Call me Incel Way."
Have y'all ever watched Polar Bear Cafe? It's a very good slice of life anime.
I've seen a little bit of it. I've seen the comic as well. Friend of the show, Robbie, I think picked that up when he first started learning Japanese because it's like a simplistic manga for like Japanese kids. So he was doing that to like kind of learn in a organic kind of way.
It's
but
very
I have
fun.
seen a couple episodes of it, and it's extremely cute.
There is a good arc in which Pangoose, the penguin, basically has been crushing on this lady penguin at the bakery, and so he goes there every day and then chickens out right after he asks her out. And then at the end of the week, 7 different ladies show up because it turns out he has or maybe it's 5. Like it's basically all twin sisters.
Oh, that's hilarious!
Asking them all out.
Hell yeah,
that's amazing.
That's some real Sigma energy right there. The Sigma mindset.
There is only one Sigma male, and he is the boss of Mega Man X.
Yeah.
So suspiciously, the weapon shop in Troia sells like weaker equipment than you may already have.
It's like a great bow. I'm like, this is fucking trash. Get this out of here.
Yeah, bows and like
fire arrows, lightning arrows.
Yeah.
Fuck that
A
shit.
Deku shield.
like cloth and leather outfits.
What do I look
instead
like?
of
A
armor.
goddamn nerd? I just got a cool mythical sword.
There's a cool
Yeah, exactly.
paper, like a little cool newspaper hat you can get.
Oh yeah, like the feathered cap or whatever.
But that's a suspicious, I would say.
No, that's normal.
No, it means
Normal.
we should have come here much earlier, I'm guessing.
If
That's
you,
right. That's right.
I think it's up closer to the castle, which we'll get to in a little bit, but there's like 2 like dancer NPCs that are standing there. One of them is like, "Oh, you want me to dance? I'm not a dancer, I'm a guard." And then the other one that you talk to says something like, "This armor doesn't really protect us, but it's great for mobility," or something. So it's like that's their like they're the soldiers in this town, but like the sprites don't line up with like the typical soldier or whatever. So I like how they wrote that in where they're just like, yeah, this isn't great armor, but like the mobility's good. So I'm like, yeah, I'd pick it. It's like a Gerudo kind of thing.
Do we want to talk more about this pub?
Yeah, let's talk
Yes.
more about the pub. Did anybody buy the pass?
Yes, I did.
I did not have the money for the pass. So there's a guy.
I also did not have the money for the pass, so I went to the store and I was like, well, I just bought all these cool mithril swords and shit.
No.
Like, I surely don't need this shitty wooden hammer that Sid came like pre-built with. Like,
Was it worth it?
No.
Okay.
No, and I'm excited to talk about why. But if you
Okay.
go all the way to like the top of the bar, there's a guy there who says like,
Yeah.
what the fuck's it's like the membership right or
Writ?
something.
I don't
The
know.
Ritz,
Rit.
yeah.
So basically, this pub doubles as a like gentleman's club or just a brothel, which is cool. Yeah, there's like old men who are like, I have every intention of living another 40 years. I'll take this place over heaven any day of the week or whatever.
Yeah.
I do like that there's a guy upstairs. So there's like this little situation happening upstairs, and we'll get to the pass. I'm sorry, but I guess
No, that's
we should
completely
just talk-
fine.
I kind of want to get
Yeah,
an idea
no,
of what the set the setting, you know,
Yeah.
before we go to the VIP lounge or whatever.
I like upstairs that there's a guy standing outside of a room, and he's like jealous, right, that some guy has come in and like purchased time with this girl that he really likes, and he's like, oh, I can't believe that he's like hanging out with my Jenny or whatever, right? I think that's her name. And he's like really pissed. And I like that you go into that room and then talk to the old man, and he's like, yeah, and then one time I was riding this horse somewhere, and then like I fell off and I fought this goblin, and then
He's like, yeah, I killed this goblin with my sword.
And he talked to the girl he's with or whatever, and she's like, yeah, every week he just comes in here and tells stories about like the dumb shit that he's done, and it's always the same stories.
I think of the 3D as like, I thrust my blade in the goblin's heart, putting an end to his foul ways for good and all. And then she's like, this old geezer won't stop rambling with his old battle story. I swear, if I have to hear another one about one more stupid goblin.
I like that he's just attention starved enough that he's like, no, someone will hear
someone
my crazy
will listen
stories.
to my story again. And we were all tying onions to our belts, which was the style at the time.
I had to go to Shelbyville.
Back then, all the Gill had a picture of a bumblebee on it. Give me five B's for a quarter, we'd say.
And yeah, in the next room, there's like a lady basically kind of doing like basically sugar daddy stuff where she's like, next time I want furs and nice ones too, nothing cheap.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's like, of course, anything to buy your love, my sweet.
Yeah, it's really good.
And there's like an old lady who's like, members only, get out.
You talk to that one guy who's like outside, and he's like, yeah, we took a walk that night, but it wasn't the same. We had a fight on the promenade out in the rain. She said she loved me, but she had somewhere to go. She couldn't scream while I held her close. I swore I'd never let her go.
And she's touching his chest.
Yo, he's coming out of this cave that we're about to go to later, and he's doing just
feeling
fine.
just fine.
But yeah, there's like a VIP area, which is like a members only.
Yeah, it costs 10,000 gold to get in, and I do not have that.
I think I forget who. Someone in the pub sells it to you, right? Like there's just like a female NPC standing there that
I think that's right.
Oh no, actually, you buy it in the sundries shop. So like where you
it's the only item there, I think, right?
Well, you can get greens, bomb fragments, Zeus Wrath, Antarctic Wind, and members writ, which is 100,000 in my version.
Damn,
and,
nice.
I cheated my save a long time ago, so it was no problem.
Yeah, it was only 10,000 in mine, so I sold all my shit and then bought it, and I was like, that'll surely be worth it. I was like, I want to see what this is about.
So a writ is a form of written command in the name of a court or legal authority act. So basically, it's like you're buying a
It's notarized.
I was gonna say it's notarized. Yeah.
But basically, it leads you to this little like VIP area, right, in the basement.
Yeah, you talk to the guy who like asks you for it, and then like the door opens up like if you touched a button in a castle, and it leads you to like a treasury or whatever.
It's like the King's Pub or whatever. I think it's like what it's called.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because there is no king in Troia.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's the gentleman's club. You get to pretend to be the king, I think, is kind of the vibe, is what goes here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, it's just like a cool little like kind of can burlesque show, right?
Yeah. So you walk up, there's like a counter there that if you talk to the guy, he's just like, oh, like you're just in time, the show's about to start, go take a seat. And then you just like, Cecil just like walks over there. I'm sure this probably looks really good in the in like the 3D version. The one I have, it also looks good, but like a door just opens and it starts playing this like great song. And then just, I think it's like 9 like dancer ladies, like with alternating color, like outfits, all come out and they do like a cool choreographed dance that goes on for a little while. And then at one point they like pull Cecil up on stage and put him in like, what's it called? Like a throne that's up there, and they keep dancing and stuff. Then they all surround him and then they all like walk away, and it's
a real honeybee inn situation.
Yeah, that's exactly where my mind went. I was like, damn, they were just doing this shit since like the early days, huh? I love it.
Are there any items down there?
Okay, so once you, there are none in the main room, but once they are done, you can kind of creep into the back dressing room. There's a lady there who's like, get out of here, this is the dressing room, which doesn't look like a dressing room. It's just but there is a gill farmer augment now.
Oh, nice.
Since you spent all that money, you might as well be able to earn it back a little faster.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any item in mine unless I missed it, but she just calls you a fucking pervert and tells you to leave because it's the dressing room. And I was like, hell yeah.
Bless.
So then I just kind of walked around, and like there's not really too much else to do in here.
Money well spent.
Yeah, but I was like, oh, okay, you know what? Let me just make sure I don't get any different dialogue or anything, I'll see what's going on. And I talked to the guy at the counter again, and he's like, "Oh, you're just in time. The show's about to start." And I had to watch the entire goddamn thing all over again. And I was like, "Damn!" Like I literally put down my PSP or my Vita. I would say PSP like a fucking old man. I put down my Nintendo.
I call it that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I put down my Game Boy, and I like walked into the kitchen and like poured myself like more coffee, and then like went back, and right as I got back, it was like finishing up. I was like, all right.
Let's see here. There are a couple items in Troia as well.
There's actually a whole lot littered around on the ground if you know where to look.
I was gonna say, so
Yeah.
if you get into the river and you follow the river to the back of the town, there's a bunch of hidden chests back there.
It's like decoys and ethers and probably some money.
Yeah, I think there is some gill. There's like a little like forest kind of area that's just like there's a lot of flower beds and that are around, and there's like a chest I guess under that with like some gill. I didn't get the amount because in the version that I'm playing, even hitting the directional pad will just like mash through dialogue and stuff. So I've just
It was 1,000 in mine.
Okay, nice. Yeah, it's probably similar. Not enough to make a dent in the price that I just spent on that writ.
That's all right. You don't need to buy equipment.
Yeah. Who needs equipment? I'm set for life with this mithril, dude.
That's right.
But there is a little girl there.
I don't know how the little girl got here. I mean, maybe she swam, but she's like, "Have you ever heard of whisperweed? It's a plant that you can use to throw your voice really far. At least that's what I heard."
Whisperweed, blam, 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 blaze it.
A ventriloquist class we can unlock later.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Can we put some like air horns right here?
Sure.
Sick. Thank you. The only other thing that I found in this town that I thought was interesting was the Chocobo Stables.
Right.
Yeah.
Not that there's like things to get there other than a good time.
Yeah,
It's like a black market like chocobo breeder, it seems like, because
it's hard to get to. You have to like go through like a secret passage, I feel like, right?
Yeah, you do, yeah.
So yeah, you first walk into this little like room. It's just like a one-room house, and just like a little like chocobo scholar or something there. It's like, our rich soil and ample waters allow us to raise a variety of crops. The growing fresh greens allows us to raise hardy chocobos in turn. I mean, then there's a secret passage that goes to the basement where there is like a black chocobo nursery.
Yeah.
Black chocobos. Yeah, we haven't seen those yet.
Yes.
But there's a whole bunch of them, and we can like walk around like a hidden passage and get into the pen with them. And I was just like, I am where I need to be. The game is done now. Like,
Yeah.
like, I have won because I am now in a pen with a bunch of cute chocobos. You just stop right here.
There is a nice little scroll on the wall that's like, the black chocobo, being a variety of recent discovery, resembling its fair-feathered cousin, save for its sable plumage.
Ooh. Yo,
Yeah, I
I
think-
love a chocobo with some sable plumage, bruh.
There's some dialogue you can get from some of the NPCs here that are just like, oh, like we breed these ones here, so they can't fly, but the ones in the wild can fly, and just a little like world building, which is really cool. Now,
Chocobos are cute. They're a little stinky though.
yeah, that was really good. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's good.
What do you think a chocobo smells like?
I mean, it probably smells a lot like just a shitty bird cage. Have you ever been to like
That's true. Yeah, like the bird sanctuary in a zoo or
Yeah.
something. Yeah,
or just even just stick your nose in like the Petco like bird cage? with all the
yeah.
songbirds in it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
employees at Petco fucking love it when you do that, when you just stick your nose into the bird cage. I loved this because it's very cute to see like a bunch of fucking black chocobos just walking around in a stable. I really enjoyed that, but in just like the way it's one of the games. From,
Oh
like,
no, I
this
know exactly what you're
time.
getting ready to say.
If anyone has played an RPG from this time, you will know how annoying it is. And it's probably happened to you in this game a couple of times where you're trying to get into like a castle or something, and an NPC is just along a one tile path and they're just like in your way and you're waiting for them to get up. So I was trying to just like see if there was anything in here, and the chocobos kind of shifted around so that one of them just like walked out towards like the exit that I needed to go, which is only like
the one tile wide.
It is
Yeah.
one Cecil unit wide. So like It was walking around, and I stood there for like so long waiting for him to come out, and he would just like walk down once and then walk back up and walk down and walk back up. And then other chocobos were like moving their way towards there. I was like, no. So I had to like position myself in a way to try and like manipulate the AI of the chocobos to make them walk away from me to get like towards the other side of the room. I swear to God, it took me like 5 minutes. I was like, I haven't saved in a while. And I like kind of soft locked.
Can you use teleport within homes like this?
That's a good point. I don't know if I had teleport at this point. I mean, I guess Tella might have it.
He remembered all of them.
True. But yeah, so I eventually made it out and I was like, thank fucking God.
Yeah. Harrowing.
I'm not stuck in here with you. Obligatory. That's mostly what the town has, is like a lot of really just cool entertainment and cool birds. So
I think,
what else do you want?
But
shitty weapons.
I guess we can go to the castle now, right? Where we get a little bit more information on. I think it's in the castle where they say like explicitly like Troia is different than other like kingdoms because it's completely governed by women, which I think kind of explains like why like it's like such a like sex work positive town where it's like not like shunned or anything.
Why it's based.
Yeah, why it's based. They're not outlawing OnlyFans here.
So there are some treasures and things in Troia. Once you walk in, I like that there are like frogs just hanging out in the water around town.
In the castle, yeah.
Yeah, in the castle. That's very cute.
I was like, I want to go in there because like that could just be people who had frog inflicted on them.
Oh my God, what if?
Like,
yeah, imagine you just got like thrown in there.
Because it's like the same sprite of your overworld sprite if you're a frog.
Right.
Now I'm just imagining them just walking around on the floor of the moat, just bipedally.
You know, they have a dungeon here, and they like notably they're like, we don't use this. I forget exactly what the dialogue is. But like, hopefully we don't have to start imprisoning people because they're such a peaceful and cool place.
They abolished the prisons.
I feel like that might be a lie, and they might be turning their prisoners into frogs and throwing them into the fucking moat.
Oh boy, could be vicious. Importantly, there's like a treasury room, I guess, in the castle. Yeah. And there's a guard who's guarding it, right? And like you were saying, Carl, she's like in the dancer sprite, right? And if you talk to her, she's like, oh, did you get permission to come down here? And if you say yes and you haven't yet, she's like, you liar, you dirtbag.
Yeah, she's like, don't lie to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, I should probably be honest here. So I was like, no, I didn't get permission. And she's like, wow, you're honest.
Yeah.
I was like, hell yeah, now I can get the treasure. And then I talked to her and she's like, she just said the same thing. And then I was like, yes. And she's like, you're lying. I was like, damn it.
Yeah.
But very soon we find out that a survivor of the assault on Damsian was found washed up on the shore.
Yes. And he is in the left tower wing.
Oh, it's Anna.
Yeah, it's Anna. It's not Anna.
Yes, it's the left wing.
Yeah, so we walk into like the lefternmost wing of the castle. And there's like a room that we kind of like walk around this little hallway in. And we emerge on the other side. We see our boy Edward in bed.
Hell yeah.
And yeah.
Lazy ass.
Fucking lazy ass motherfucker. And like a little I
mean, he is a bard. He is a musician.
He just left his harp on the floor.
yeah, he did. Yeah, his harp is like posted up against the wall.
I can't believe he doesn't have a gig bag for that.
It's like that meme where there's just a bunch of shit all over the place, and it's just like, yeah, just take a seat anywhere.
Right. But we see him, and you know the party is excited to see him. They're like, "Oh my god, you survived!" And he couldn't believe that we survived too. And then he's like, "I have to get up and help you guys fight," but he's like in no condition to fight, right? So Cecil's like, "No, you should probably just stay here."
He was in no condition to fight when he was at the top of his game. Let's get real.
And then he takes a minute to apologize to Tella too. He's like, "Oh, it's my fault. What happened to Anna? I'm so sorry." And I like that like. Tella like just doesn't say anything, right? He's just silent.
That's right, because we haven't. I forgot that we had not seen him since Damsian.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I literally like. There's been so many character swaps and changes and party like alterations. I know. I literally forgot that Tella and Edward were like connected in this very critical way. I was like, oh yeah, Edward was gonna marry his dead daughter.
That's that old chestnut. Who amongst us has not experienced something similar?
It's a bummer Edward never got to meet Paladin Porum.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Missed a whole arc.
Yep. He asked what happened to Rydia. Cecil says he could not save her, and so they both share a moment over that. But Sid eventually, like Sid being insane and like not the type to like be mopey or whatever, is just like, yeah, I have a fucking airship. Wait, don't worry about not fighting with us. It's more than powerful enough to make up for you. He's like, it's taking up all of your slack, I think is what he says.
Yeah, in my version, he says something like, we can rise above anything with my enterprise.
Yeah, right.
It's like, dude, that's your solution. Airships is your solution to everything, Sid.
Yeah. Which he's
like,
not
oh,
wrong.
you miss your dead friend and your dead lover?
That's right.
Just hop on my airship, dude.
If it's anything like FFX Sid, I'm just gonna blow up any.
Yeah,
problems.
right.
So Edward's like, oh shit, sick. So you actually got the airship. That's great. What happened to Rosa? And Cecil lets him know, like Golbez proposed a trade, the crystal for Rosa's return. But oh yeah, and there is some shit that we could have learned already if we did more discussion with NPCs. Like I had done all of the dialogue beforehand. Little bit important. There's a dark elf that stole their crystal already.
Yeah,
so,
right.
This is where, like, I guess if you just come right here, like, I guess it just like the game's just like, oh yeah, like Cecil just knows this or whatever. I didn't.
Maybe he gives you directions like go talk with the people. Maybe they'll be able to.
Yeah, it could be a thing like that.
Maybe he gives you the exposition where it's like, or something like that. Like, oh, it was stolen. You should probably go talk to like
the Council of Eight.
Like talk to the council about it. Maybe
Epopt. Epopt.
I looked that up. I actually have Wikipedia open right now with the definition of that, which is an ancient Greek word, and it is an initiate in the Eleusinian mysteries, one who has attended the Epopteia.
Whomst amongst us didn't know that?
Or more generalized, one who is instructed in the mysteries of some secret system.
Some sort of octogenarian eptot, it would seem.
Yeah, he gives us a walkie-talkie, right?
He gives us that dank.
It's so dank.
Nice. Smoke weed.
It's the whisper weed.
Just make all those things that we did into samples.
Smoking on that shit that made Edward feeble and stay in bed.
Never should have smoked that shit. Now I'm bedridden in Troia.
So anyway, yeah, a dark elf stole the crystal, and we got to go and retrieve it. We have this whisper weed, which will make us ventriloquists or whatever. And
it does remind me of
whenever I smoke on that whisper weed, I also feel like I can talk to faraway beings.
Talk to inanimate objects.
Yeah.
Whisper weed just reminded me. There's a really good podcast, D&D podcast called Bombarded, in which they play entirely as bards and write and compose a song every episode.
Hell yeah.
It's very good. But one of the key items, which is like a stone of far speech, but they call it the Ira glass.
The Ira glass. That's such a good joke.
It only works when you speak softly into it.
That's
incredible. That's incredible. But yeah, so the other thing is the epops, right? Epips. Epip. Hooray. But yeah, in the northern, the uppermost room.
Basically just the actual like where the throne room would be before the crystal room.
Yeah, there's 8 women who are standing around, and they kind of give you some of the story of what's going on and tell you that, the dark elf has stolen the crystal.
This gives me some big vibes from FF1 with that big circle of like weird...
That's why I said 12 earlier, as I was thinking of that.
Yeah.
Which meant me think like, oh, am I supposed to be talking to these folks in the correct order?
Same. And then I was like, wait, I should go right to left because it's Japanese media, so it,
Is
like
one of them going to give me
manga.
the canoe?
Yeah, I talked to the canoe one first.
Well, I'm just going to skip to the end.
Which I like their concept of a property or whatever is very progressive, because they're like, yeah, the dark elf stole our crystal, but if you get it back, I guess you can just take it for a spin, I guess.
They're like, yeah, you can just,
they're just
we'll
cool
lend it
with
to you.
Yeah, they're just like totally fine with that. They're like, yeah, it used to be a
we
dark
don't really
night,
like it anymore. We don't want him to have it. Just take it.
So you're gonna trade it to Gulbez. That's probably fine. I don't see the downside of that.
I think one of them mentions like a very like kind of trope sort of thing of being like the power of the crystal like will change depending on who the bearer of it is. They're like, if it gets into the wrong hands, who knows what could happen?
And like that's
like, yeah, that probably won't happen.
No,
It seems like the future of Troia kind of depends on the having the crystal in some way.
Yeah.
One of them's like, they have a lot of flowers. There's a lot of vegetation. There's a lot of like crystal clear water and stuff, and they're surrounded by forests. And they're like, yeah, like if the crystal's gone, we might not have all of this anymore.
What's 5 more years?
Yeah, I think we mentioned that there was a handy parking space, quote unquote, out front of the castle and town, but like the entire continent is covered in forests.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the only place that you can land the airship because there's so much
the
vegetation.
Castle, yeah, the castle is just like right next to a gigantic waterfall that has like a lake at the top of it.
Right.
And that's pretty much just like the continent.
And that's where what's her name?
Lucretia.
Lucretia.
Yeah.
Lucretian disc. That's a black hole joke. Anyway,
But yeah, we're just instructed like where the elf is, and we can go, but with a catch.
Yeah, they also mention, I think, I forget who mentions
they
it.
do.
There's a lot of talking you have to do to a lot of different people, but they say that the dark elf has some sort of magnetic field on the cave, so any metallic items that you have will only weigh you down.
Metallica, not allowed.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, good. It's the one place you can get away from them.
They're pro Napster, so they don't want Metallica anywhere near their fine city.
So they're gonna download the Legend of Zelda song by System of a Down.
God, Serge Tanaka just fucking loves Zelda so much, dude.
So yeah, that's really all there is to do in Troia, right? But importantly, the cave where the dark elf is on a small island that only has forests in it. So there's no way to get to it with the airship, right?
Yeah.
I was curious if did any of you go to, if we just like don't go to Edward, if we can progress.
I'll tell you when we get there because I know the answer to this.
I feel like the game is
and you're
pretty
right. You're
good,
right to
like-
be curious because it's slightly different.
Nice.
But as we've heard about Black Chocobo, they can fly, right?
Yeah. So
Yes.
if this isn't your first Final Fantasy, you probably figured out by now what you have to do. Like if you played Final Fantasy VII, you're like, oh, okay, I know how to get to this island that has
I know
this.
how chocobos work.
We gotta
Yeah.
go chocobo racing and breed the perfect chocobo.
Yeah, if I didn't know about this already, I'd be like, I don't know if I would have figured this out because again, the entire fucking continent is filled with forest. But if
Yeah.
you go into like I think it's what the
Northwestern
like the
corner.
northwestern part of it, there's
Yeah.
like
It's just straight north. more or
yeah,
less.
there's a small section of forest that sort of looks like a chocobo like forest, like the circular ones that we found
Yeah.
all over, but part of it's cut off because of like the ocean, so it's slightly different. But if you walk into there, you reach the chocobo village.
Yeah. And we see all of our favorites: yellow chocobo, white
Big
chocobo,
chocobo.
big chocobo, and importantly, black chocobo.
Yes.
Also, by the way, this may not have been the case for y'all, but in the SNES version, as I was playing it, the difficulty really bounced up here at this point. Like just walking through
Yeah.
the forests, I was like, oh shit, these enemies are hard. They are like killing somebody every battle I get into. Like,
Yeah.
this has all of a sudden become a difficult game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like first not sure if I was in the right area just because how strong they were.
Yeah.
There's like those weird tree things that are like real menacing looking.
Yeah.
They're like casting stop on everything.
Yeah, the
was
little
like, this
porcupine
sucks.
boys counter every move.
I used a pro strat from last episode to get me through pretty much this entire section, which was just use bio. So I just had Tella throwing bio at everything and like if not killing them outright, then poisoning them to making like the rest of the fights easy.
Nice.
But yeah,
nice.
like these enemies do not fuck around.
No. But yeah, we're able to get our black chocobo and take the black chocobo across the ocean to that forested island with a cave on it, right?
Yeah,
I didn't-
there is a different song that plays when you get the black chocobo, which is
Yeah.
really cool. It's like a more hype version of the chocobo theme.
Is that the one that has like
it's
the whistle,
flying.
the samba whistle on it?
I think
yeah.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
I hear Samba Whistle, and I'm just thinking of Super Mario RPG because my girlfriend has been playing that like all weekend. So like that Samba Whistle, I just have been hearing nonstop.
So Super Mario RPG. This is now a podcast about that game.
Hell yeah, she'll be really excited.
It's so good. Anyway, so yeah, we're getting ready to go into the cave. I think this would probably be a good time to use a tent and take a little break, right?
Yep.
And
we just got our ass kicked by several enemies, and we're about to go and get our ass kicked by several more enemies. So we should probably use a tent and relax for a bit.
Let's do it.
One little detail that I really like about this area, like I did a couple back and forth trips for what will become an obvious reason. But someone mentions, like, I think in the Chocobo Village or maybe in like the stable that like the black Chocobos, like they can, fly, do all this stuff, but it's I forget how they word it. They say it's like a round trip.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I don't know what that means. And then like when I went to go and get on the Chocobo after like flying to this cave, it just immediately flew back to the Chocobo forest. Like I couldn't fly it anywhere else. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, somebody says they always return home on the round trip or something like that.
Yeah, that's it. And
that's cool. It's also like the first time I think that the Chocobo doesn't run away, which is helpful because otherwise we have no way of getting back.
Then literal soft lock there. You just become bones on that.
So Carl, why would you need to leave this cavern?
So if you walk into this cavern, there's obviously this magnetic field, this like dark elf magic shit.
Yeah, magnets, how do they work?
Yeah,
dark elf magic, we have the answer.
Yeah, God, read a fucking book, Insane Clown Posse.
Fake gamers.
But I was like, oh, this might make it kind of difficult, but whatever, I can probably just power through. Like I got these overpowered weapons I just bought. I'll just use them. So I was like walking through and I was like, oh, okay. Someone mentioned that it would slow them down. So I probably just can't run in this cave because like the sprite like is very deliberate with how it walks. And there's like, I think like an electrical kind of field that goes around you as you're like walking to show that you have like this electric shit going on.
Yeah.
And I was just like walking real slow. I was like, I can probably make it through the whole cave this way. That's fine. And then I got into battle and like pretty much everyone except for Yang and Tella were just completely like paralyzed. And I was just like, oh shit, this is going to be real fucking rough. Or I think Tella was too at that point. And I was just like, oh yeah, fuck this. I can't do this.
Yeah, it's real rough.
On the 3D one, yeah. So as soon as we walk in, we do get like a little exchange just to kind of like hammer home what's going on. And like Sid's like, the magnetic field in this cave is unbelievable. And then Yang just says, my claws don't seem to be affected, which is like kind of just telling you.
Showing
like,
you that,
Yes, the claws are fine. And Tella's like, and we have my magic as well. There's nothing to fear. But if you go to your like status menu, just to kind of take a peek, there is paralysis on everyone. I mean, everyone. I think for me, it was everyone but Sid.
Okay.
So I had to just kind of go through and like figure out what things I had to equip that weren't metal, like things that were armor, like the Gaia gear you can use, which I haven't.
Everyone but Sid was paralyzed because he had that wooden hammer that the game gives us and that none of us sold like a big dummy.
Yep.
And he wears leather instead of armor.
Right. The silver rings need to be replaced with ruby rings.
I also want to point out that I just went on a tear of selling most of my shit because my inventory was kind of getting full. So I was like, okay. I was like, we don't have Yang anymore, so why would I still need his claws? Or I was like, why do I still need this? Why do I still need this ice claw? Whatever, I'll sell it. And then we got Yang back, and I left him with two perfectly good claws that, I don't know, I guess he just fucking dropped them somewhere. I guess he dropped them when the Leviathan ate him and shit him out or whatever. Like, so I was just like, well, there goes all of my shit. So I was like, fuck you, Yang. I'm not going to buy you shit anymore if that's how you treat it.
I'll buy you your first phone, but if you break it.
So basically, yeah, we're going into this cave under-equipped on purpose, right?
Just going nude.
Going nude.
Yeah, so you can go back to Troia. I bought a great bow for Cecil and a bunch of like the arrows there, and then I remembered I had like 99 holy arrows, and holy arrows, like a lot of enemies in this area are weak to holy, so I was like, oh, I'll just use that. Yeah.
Okay. But the dungeon's like a decent size. It has like several rooms. And as I was playing it in the 2D version, I was finding I was getting encounters like every step. Like I would fight a battle, take one step, and then fight another battle. And I was just like, dog, this sucks. Like this blows. And the enemies are kind of chunky in here too. There's like the ogres that you can fight. From FF1 again. Oh, it's an FF1 kind of day.
Hell yeah.
And then there was also those cats, kind of like the ones from Final Fantasy X. They're kind of like just lanky cats.
Oh yeah, the Coriol or whatever they're called.
I forget. Those things were annoying. Like I called them the Lisa Frank tigers the last season.
Yeah.
They would do this thing like Blaster or whatever. Like
Blaster, God, yeah.
And it would just like do instant death occasionally on some characters. It sucked.
Yeah.
Yep. Those are going to become a recurring enemy as well.
There's one of the worst enemies in any Final Fantasy. Ketshi.
Yeah.
AKA Kate Sith.
a bad enemy, but a worse ally.
Yes, exactly. The enemy's fine. I actually like this enemy a lot, but not so much if it was an ally.
There is our second caked up enemy.
Oh
here.
my god, extremely caked up.
The vampire.
Oh, it's called vampire in yours? It's called succubus in mine.
Oh, okay. Or wait,
yeah.
Maybe it is called succubus and it uses vampire. No, the bats use vampire. That's right.
Yeah, so it's just like a very cool sprite. I meant to look up the Amano.
I actually like
I didn't.
It's like
hanging
to the
upside
ceiling.
down, yeah.
Yeah.
But with full view of the caked up ass, of course.
It's like those weird barnacles from Half-Life 2.
Yeah, the things with like the little tongue that hangs down or whatever, and
it's eating this girl backwards. It's just like
what is
eating this girl backwards is quite a phrase to say.
Ceiling monster Half-Life.
I think they are called barnacles, right?
Barnacles. Yeah, okay, it is the barnacle. Yeah, this is a caked up barnacle. Yeah.
In the 3D version, they just made it more flatter, but her face is a lot more evil in the 3D version, which is cool.
Yeah,
nice.
She has she looks like she has kind of evil goggles.
Yeah, it's a really cool enemy.
Yeah, annoyingly in the 2D version, it often appears with 6 bats who can all use the skill vampire in a row, which like is not the most deadly thing in the world, but it does take a non-zero amount of time. So as soon as you see them using it, you're like, well, I can just go use the bathroom and make a snack, and by the time I'm ready to attack again, like it'll be
they're super annoying.
Later.
Also, I forget it's called like Blood Feast in mine, I think, which is pretty fucking metal. But
I was gonna say that's cool as hell.
I didn't notice until like way deeper into this cave that every time they use it, it poisons your party. It poisons whoever is it's used on. And I was like, oh shit, because I just saw my HP dropping later on. I was like, oh fuck.
That is wild.
Did you all come across the Mind Flayers?
Oh yeah,
I did.
Familiar friends.
I don't think I did in the 2D version. Not that they're not there, but I did in the 3D version.
Yeah, those little Zoidberger looking guys with staffs.
Also, I don't think we said this is called the Lodestone Cavern.
The Lodestone, yeah.
The Load Captain.
Do they also call it Magnetic Cave in like other versions, or that's just like another name?
Oh yeah, you may be right.
No, I'm not sure. I'm looking at the fandom right now, so that might be like a game facts thing.
Oh, okay.
I typed in like Dark Elf Cave,
also known as the Magnetic Cave or Cave Magnus. I guess depending on the version.
Yeah.
In the original Japanese release, the cave is darker. In Easy Type, the cave was brightened up.
Oh yeah, I was looking at the Succubus fandoms, which only said Lodestone. So, so me saying actually,
the entire website is the Succubus fandom is what Carl was looking at.
Yeah, exactly.
The items here are pretty decent, I would say. They're more versions of potions and stuff, but like they're like nicer ones, I guess, like mega potions and high potions, high ethers and stuff like that. Importantly, Yong's fairy claws are here.
Dude,
fairy claws.
This thing fucking rules.
Yo, they do some damage.
They do some real fucking damage, and also, like Edward's harp, it has a chance of confusing the enemy. So anytime I saw like a party of like an ogre, a mind flayer, like whatever, like these tough enemies, I would just like have Yang, because Yang's like my fastest, so he would just be the first one to hit. I would just have him hit the ogre, confuse the ogre, and then like it was pretty much not a problem because the ogre can do some damage.
Yeah. So that's good shit. I think there are 2 save points along the way. It's long enough to actually like need those.
It's a little windy. Yeah, I was like,
it's confusing. Yeah, I didn't look at a map, but I kept finding like the different save point and thinking I accidentally backtracked. So I was like, shit.
By the second save point, there's actually an emergency exit, which is nice. Every time I see one of those, I'm like, thank God, I have to walk back out of here. But do we have anything else to say about the cavern itself?
No, it's windy. You start at one. There's a lot of like catwalks and
there's a lot of catwalks. The whole like the area that we're able to walk on is all elevated. Yeah, I guess it's like an important thing to point out. Like it's all like a big black abyss, right? And then we're like walking on these like catwalks and precipices the entire time.
I guess that's maybe to imply because this is like a boss we're about to fight that is. This is like his lair. Like this is kind of semi-man-made. Like someone to kind of maybe design this lair.
There are ornate doors. Yeah,
because it's like maybe convert it like a mine or something.
Yeah.
And they call it a mine. There's also some really cool like set dressing where there's like, at least in the Vita version, like the complete edition or whatever. There's giant like torches that are just coming out of the ground, but they have like skulls surrounding them. Like,
is that what a sconce is?
A sconce, perhaps. I thought that
or
was
is that
a delicious
snack I'm thinking of?
You're thinking scone, but that's immediately where my mind went.
Okay.
Sconces. Let's see. Yeah, similar to a sconce. I don't know if a sconce is something that only hangs on a wall or if it's one that can be sticking out of the ground.
All sconces come from Wisconsin.
Nice. That sounds like
there are sconces.
That sounds like it would be a fucking hardcore band's like like an interlude track.
From
Like there's no penguins in Alaska or shit, just a long sentence.
Just any Chiodo song, honestly.
Yeah.
Baby, you wouldn't last a minute on the creek.
There's definitely a breakdown in it where it's just like Craig Owens like speaking. Which is cool at first, but then when it's every other song, you're like, shut the fuck up, dude.
Sit down.
Sit down. Yes.
In addition to pretty like sconces, there are also when we're going over these catwalks, there are sometimes like glowing stones or like they're maybe reflecting light from above, maybe. I don't know. There's like some like just rocks in the kind of floating in the abyss that are kind of reflecting light or something, and
nice,
some sparkly way. It's a very nice little detail.
Yeah. It's a good looking place for sure.
It's a cool looking cave for sure.
Yeah,
but it's not cool. The Dark Elf.
Yeah, he's a motherfucker.
Don't like this guy. But he has constructed his own crystal room, I will say.
Yeah, and it looks really nice.
Like, interestingly, like with all the mirrors and everything, and I like his preparation for it, because we've been told that he stole the crystal from Troia, right? So I imagine that like he knew what he was doing. He was like, I need to get that crystal, but I can't just like take the crystal and just keep it. I need to build a crystal room.
Yeah, I need to put it somewhere nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he builds a whole mirrored crystal room in his cave, and like, I respect the hustle.
This dude put more fucking effort into making this like crystal room than I did in like making my home office, even though I'm like full-time work from home.
Real impressive.
Well, now I'm wondering, is the crystal room designed as such for a functional reason, not just an aesthetic reason? Like it needs to be like encased in like a mirrored room,
maybe
in some way.
I was wondering about that. I actually wonder if that's the case.
I don't know, because like Cecil just has it in his pocket right now.
Yeah. Well, not right now, but he will.
Yeah, spoilers, we get the crystal.
But I'm just like thinking like, why, if you're going to like live at the bottom of a cave that's really hard to get to, like why would you just like make a really pretty like display room? I guess it could just be for maybe he's friends with all the succubuses and stuff and likes to invite him over sometimes.
Oh, I guess like
cool pad.
Because there's no internet in the world of Final Fantasy IV, as far as we know. He had to like go purchase all of these mirrors, and I have a hard time believing that like any kind of supply store had that many mirrors at once ready to go. And so he just comes back every other weekend, and it's like, hey, you got more mirrors? And they're like, it's Dark Elf again. So they start expecting him, and like when he walks into the door, they're just like, here for more mirrors? We've already got them packed up for you. And he's like, oh, you guys are the best. Thank you so much. What are you building with this? My own crystal room. I've always wanted one. Putting in an addition on the homestead.
Just bachelor life,
Yeah. Nothing else to do. Man cave. But he isn't here, and I like that his little like overworld sprite is like the thief kind of like elf sprite thing that we see sometimes. Yeah, but he gets upset with us for intruding on his domain.
Yeah,
and coming to take the crystal back, and we get into a battle with him.
Yeah,
and holy shit, it's Astos from FF1.
Oh yeah, shit! I knew I recognized him. I didn't put that together though.
Yeah, it's the exact same sprite. It's just like a 16-bit version of the same sprite as the boss Astos. Yeah. So like this is a very FF1 episode.
Yeah. Wow, look at that.
They knew what they were doing.
Same guy. This is the same guy. He's stealing crowns, stealing crystals. Dude,
He's got the horn.
Got the horn. Got everything.
Looks like he has his dick out in the 3D version, but it's just his tail.
Dick's out for Astos.
I went and saw. Okay, I'm gonna call out a band here if you're ready.
Alice Cooper, Dick's Out for Summer.
No, Dick's Out for Summer.
Ever.
I went and saw the band The Faceless one time.
It's a really good band name.
It is a really good band name. It's a good band too, and I saw them play and. At the end of it, I'm not really calling them out. If just in case anybody from the band The Faceless is listening, I'm not really making fun of you. I'm just kind of like ironically doing it a little bit. But at the end of their set, their singer said "Dick's Out for Harambe," and it was like 2019, and I was like,
no.
Someone doesn't get online. Like someone does not use the internet.
God bless them. God bless them.
Yeah, they're truly living a better life than I. Yeah.
They've been on tour for too long.
Yeah. I was like, well, anyway. The Dark Elf. So we get in a fight with the Dark Elf, and he is strong as fuck.
Yeah.
Depending
I was like, I like my odds on this fight. I'm a little under... I got a bit of a handicap. I'm not using my good weapons and shit, but I think like with Cecil against those like succubuses and shit, I was doing like 4 digits of damage at some point. Like Yang could get a good critical roll and do like 1,400 damage. I'm like, I feel like I can fucking take this guy. So I came in, I like used like the Hermes sandals. I like was like real ready to go. I'm like throwing fucking like firebomb arms or whatever they're called and stuff. And I was like, going real hard, and then he's just like, take this, and he just fucking decimated me.
He uses Bolt 3, Lightning 3, and Ice 3 in one turn.
Yeah, I think, is it 4? Or is it 3? I can't remember. It's either, it's definitely more
highest,
than 2.
Yeah, yeah it's the highest possible one, yeah.
Yeah, he uses a bunch of fucking spells in a row, and just like does like 400 damage to like everyone in my party.
Here's the part that's different if you haven't spoken to Edward. So I told you we get to it. So if you have not spoken to Edward and you come here and do this, okay.
Didn't get that weed.
If you don't have the weed, all right. Yeah, because you wouldn't have the whisper weed, right?
Yeah.
So like you're saying, he does all 3 spells, and he does enough to basically KO your entire team, right? And if not your entire team, then like 1 or 2 people will be left standing with a couple HP.
I still had Sid and Yang, but
yeah, same.
They were not. They were fucking one more turn and they would have been dead.
Right. And if you haven't spoken to Edward, it just does quad 9s. So like, if you talk to Edward, a scene begins after this. We get like it's one of those battles you're supposed to lose. And if you have not spoken to Edward, it just takes you to the game over screen.
Holy shit, dude!
So he just quad 9s you, and then it just game over.
Oh my god!
What the fuck? Which could you imagine not knowing what to do?
Yeah,
and, like,
just being like, I can
like,
beat him. I guess I just go level grind, and then you like level grind all the way up, and just get fucking killed each time. Oh my god!
Oh my gosh!
But
that's mean.
Yeah,
but
you said but. It's funny. Dark elf, more like the dork elf.
I guess with the dark elf too, like maybe I guess there's a bit of a hint. Kind of where we didn't mention it, but when we talk to him, or like when we get in there, he says, "I commend your effort," and it's like weird alternating caps throughout. Like,
oh yeah, he talks in alternating caps.
There's like a weird inflection. It's not like
he's
camel.
Speaking like the Doy SpongeBob meme.
Yeah.
It's not like quite that much. It's like, I commend your effort. But your excursion ends here, like shit like that. Like, you'll never get the crystal. You cannot defeat me with those weapons, which just sounds like a fucking normal thing to say where you're like, yeah, you have your weak weapon, so you can't defeat me. But I guess you're just like, oh, I need different weapons or something. Like, I don't know. It's not a very good hint.
We need the weapon of weed.
We need the weapon of the Nintendo hotline and call them and ask them what we do here because we keep dying.
Just call your uncle.
Just call your good old-fashioned uncle.
Who works at Nintendo. But yeah, in the 3 version, like, we kind of like fake game over, or he like magnetizes everyone, even if I think no matter what we have equipped.
Yeah.
And
the music does that like worried music. Da, 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 da,
I think it's called like Hurry or Run or whatever it is.
So
yeah.
good.
Every game has one.
Every game has one.
But yeah, Cecil's like, if only I could use my sword. And then like we flash back to Troia.
Let me tell you what, Cecil. Even if you could use your sword, you're still gonna lose this battle like 7 times.
Yeah.
And I have to keep trying over and over. It took me a minute.
So you have to go back and get an all rubber sword.
But you're right though. It does flash over to Troia, right? And like Edward like senses that they're in danger or whatever. He has like the
My
Jedi
friends,
sense.
they need me.
Yeah. He goes, Leia, and like reaches out his hand.
Ben, why did you tell me?
He's hanging off the bottom of Cloud City. Anyway,
he starts walking over to his harp, and
he does.
Falls over, and like the doctor's like, "Where are you going?" And the nurse is like, "You're in no condition to move." Actually, real quick, I want to talk about the doctor and nurse because there's a nice little cool detail there. Because before talking to Edward, if you talked to like the female NPC or I talked to the male NPC first, and he said, "Doctor, no, she's the doctor. I'm just the nurse." So there was like a nice like
cute
on the theme of Troia just in general. Like I really like that. It's like that old riddle where it's like I forget what it is, but it's like this.
I know, but yeah.
And it's like the doctor's like, I cannot work on this. On this
is
person.
my
It's
son or whatever, yeah.
And then like it's like it's a woman.
Yeah.
But anyway, Edward's Lassie senses are tingling.
Indeed.
Right?
And
is that what Lassie does? No, Lassie sees the problem and reports back to someone else to do it. All right.
Her Scooby senses are his
That's
Scooby
it.
senses are tingling.
Scooby sense.
You know, from the famous Incredible Scooby Man.
Yeah, but he realizes the party's in danger, and so he like limps over to his harp and he starts playing his harp through the whisper weed, which I imagine is kind of like has that like tin can kind of sound like coming out the other end where it's like it's like super high pass.
So longtime listeners of the show will know that we were in a very similar situation once during an episode where a dark elf was actually causing some technical problems that we were having, but luckily our friend Corey was playing The Painkiller by Judas Priest, and the Whisperweed carried it through, so we were able to defeat the dark elf.
That's right. But he picks up his harp and he plays a little song into it that might go something like this.
Yes.
I can't do it. Wait. No, that's not right. Oh, are you gonna do it too? Oh, everybody's gonna get it out.
I don't know if I have my electric guitar. I don't know if it'll pick it up. Yeah, whatever.
So you can't play this because the strings would just be fucked up by the magnetism anyway.
That's right, yeah.
Nah, motherfucker, I got a nylon string guitar. Let's fucking go, dude.
So anyway, Edward looks directly at the screen and says, Cecil needs your help, but if you want to help him, you'll have to send him the 16 numbers on your credit card and the 3 on the back. Hurry before the dark elf gets him.
Edward looks directly at the camera and says, "I'm Edward Knoxville, and this is Jackass." And then he walks over to his harp and falls on his ass.
Yeah, but he plays the song through the whisperweed.
It's the same song he was playing when he was reminiscing about Anna that one time and they got attacked by
immediately attacked by a water hag / Sahagin.
Sahagin these nuts. And then we go back to the cave where everything is fine suddenly, right?
Yeah, so the dark elf fucking hates arpeggios. He hates that shit. Cannot stand it. He's a chords only kind of guy.
He loves chords. And he
loves chords.
Notes, the only time he can ever stand a note is when it is accompanied by several other notes at the same time. At least 3 notes. He tolerates power chords, but like just barely.
Right. But this absolutely not. Sweeping out of the question.
Edward just fucking gets a Telecaster out, puts a capo on it, and starts doing like tapping.
American football, like
yeah. Hold up. I want to talk about American football real quick. Did you motherfuckers know? Because I didn't know this, but it was pointed out to me, I think by a friend of the show, Waz. I don't know if he listens to this. I think that's who it was. I'm pulling a Curtis and just kind of blindly saying, crediting someone with something. But there is a band from China that is a Midwestern emo style band like American football.
Yeah.
They just do that. Like if you listen to it, you would just think, oh, okay, it's Midwestern emo from, like the 2010s or whatever. And they are called Chinese Football, and they fucking rule. They're so fucking good.
That's so awesome.
It's so good. Look them up. I think the one song that I like looked up and immediately fell in love with is called like Electronic Girl, I think. But yeah, no, very cool. Yeah. So anyway, Edward's playing his harp.
Edward's playing his harp.
His shoegaze.
He just plays the intro to Black Parade, as we always do. But yeah, the fucking elf hates that shit. And I guess like it disturbs his concentration to the point where he can't keep up the magnetic spell is kind of how I read that.
Yeah, it's almost like the end of Mars Attacks, but not quite that bad.
Hell yeah. Jack Black's in there.
But it's enough time for Cecil and the rest of the party to be able to step back and then equip their metallic stuff, right?
Yeah.
So and importantly, I did not know that you could re-equip before you fight him again. And so I just went right back into it and I was like, oh wait, no. And that's why I lost the first time.
I tried to go back and use a tent and save. Luckily your party's completely healed by the melody.
Yeah.
By the rhythm of the night.
This is the rhythm of the night.
I tried going back and you just can't. It's like sealed by the elf's magnetic power or whatever.
Oh, okay. So he has
so you can't
to seal
save.
The door. But...
So if you game over in this next fight like I did, you have to do the whole fucking scene again.
Over and over and over and over like I did.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why we don't just like grab the crystal that's behind him and run.
Go on, grab the crystal and run.
I wouldn't want to leave this motherfucker alive. I'd be like, nah, I gotta kill this guy.
Not after the things he's done. Not after what I've seen.
He hasn't done much. He just stole a crystal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which we were also going to do.
But I do like arpeggios, and I think it's a moral thing.
Yeah. Chords are for suckers.
That's right. So we're allowed to get into the fight with him again. And the thing is, he's now weakened quotation marks fingers, right? Like he can no longer do 400 plus damage with
each spell,
3 spells or whatever. But he's still not a slouch, man. He can still fuck you up, especially on like the 3D version. Like he's not weak by any means. But I will say, do take the time to re-equip all of Cecil's armor and all of his weapons and everybody else's stuff. And Cecil's not ancient sword, but the legend sword or the inscribed sword or whatever, it does a fuckload of damage. Like it does so much damage when it hits him.
The energy sword.
Energy sword?
Yeah, like from Halo 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I was like, no, I don't think we have one called that. But big damage coming out of Cecil here. But like I said, he can still use his like triple magic things in a row, but it only does like 50 damage now.
Yeah, it doesn't really. It's way more manageable now.
Yeah, but he moves pretty quickly, and he can still do a decent bit of damage.
Yeah, I used like haste. I used the Hermes sandals that have just been burning a hole in my fucking inventory. I used those on Sid and Cecil, and then I think I also used like I forget what it's called. It's something wine, where it basically just
Bacchus's wine.
Bacchus wine, yeah. And I was sipping
Sussy
on that
Bacchus wine.
with Cecil and Sid. So they were just like very fast and hitting very hard. And then with Yang, I was just focusing to attack.
Yeah, I will say I used Bacchus Wine on Yang, and then I actually used I used Cecil for healing in this battle.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's smart.
That's kind of what I did too. Because he already know Cura and Protected and stuff like that.
Yeah. But it's not too bad. It's not like too hard to get into a rhythm where you can beat the Dark Elf pretty easily or whatever. Or at least his first form.
Yeah. Also,
Oh, yeah.
it's still playing Edward's shoegaze throughout the whole battle, which is a nice little touch. I was
goodness. I was talking I've been doing my podcast homework on Twitch, right? And I kept telling everybody, I was like, all right, I think the Dark Elf is almost dead. He's getting ready to do his switch. I love the fucking transition, and nothing like crazy happens, but there's something just cool as shit. Like it does something good to my soul to hear like that, like Edward's nice harp music during this fight, and then as soon as he changes to the other form, because like he kind of flashes into it, he goes and like builds into the other form a little bit, and that time is the like arpeggio run up into the boss music, which I think is like it's timed and looks so good, like because like you're fighting him, it's and then he transforms his and I'm like yes,
very the extreme.
Dude, it's awesome. It's so cool. But yeah, he turns into a fucking dragon. So
show off.
And where I was saying the Dark Imp originally was no slouch, this dude is fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like this is a genuinely difficult battle. Like difficult in a way that I don't know that we've had battles in Final Fantasy games that are difficult like this yet. I would say this is the hardest fight yet in our podcast.
Yeah, this is the part where I got wiped.
Nemesis can eat shit.
I was thinking about that. I was like, is Nemesis or Penance harder? Well, no, because like you just do the right thing. You just train up to it and do the right thing and you'll win. This is like ATB. Like shit is happening and firing off as you're going through menus. So like it's hard. It's really fucking hard.
Yep.
So
yeah, it's got a move. I forget what it's called, but it's like a breath move that hits your entire
Dragon
party.
Breath.
Yeah, and it does a shit ton of damage.
Or dick breath. It's D dot breath. It's
D breath.
He's got
breath.
He's got some foul D breath.
Did you all get hexed at all?
I think at one
hex?
point, but I game overed shortly after, so I don't know if
It turns you into a pig.
Oh
Yes!
no, that did happen. I was fighting with Cecil as a pig because I was like, I thought there was like diet rations or something.
That's an item.
Yeah, that turns you not into a pig, right?
Yeah.
Unpigged?
Yeah, unpiggened.
It unpiggins the biggest man.
Yeah, I used that on Cecil, but he was still a pig. Unless I like misclicked, which I've been doing quite a bit this week's of homework, where I was like, Asuna, oh no, I used it on Tella, fuck.
It's like a Porco Rosso situation. He's like, you're just a pig now.
Yeah. Dude, he used it on Tella every fucking time for me, and I needed Tella to not be a pig very specifically.
Yeah.
So this guy's tough, man. He'll ruin you quick. Like if you're not casting like good healing spells, it's like 2 turns to being dead, right? Like you're 2 D breath away from being game over at any point. And you're 1 D breath away from basically Tella being dead every time.
Right.
2 D breath.
So it's not easy. And on top of that, he's doing all kinds of other moves. His physical attack was enough to 1-hit KO any of my party members. He could just clock him and take him out, and that was it. So basically, the way I did it was I cheesed the 2D boss. So like in the 2D version, I cheesed him. And then in the second one, I half cheesed him where I was like, okay, I know what he's susceptible to, so I'm just going to cast all of these debuffs and then use all these buffs on myself and then barely get through it. Get through it with like 1 person alive.
So when you say you cheesed him, you mean you covered him in cheese and then Pig Tella ran up and ate him?
Yeah, I put a little slice of cheese under a box with a stick holding it up, and I lured him under it and then pulled the string attached to the stick.
Every time.
Gets him every time. I was just thinking about the big snake that Sephiroth impaled on that giant stick, and I was like, what if he just had a giant box on it? Like, and he's like, I'm gonna get the Midgar Zolom once and for all. It just like pulls the stick and like traps him in a giant box. Cloud sees the giant box and he's like, did Sephiroth do this? Anyway,
you just slide like a postcard.
Yeah, he slides the world's biggest card underneath it. Yeah. Anyway, so in the 2D version, well, okay, in both versions, importantly, the Dark Dragon is susceptible to slow. So that is huge. Because he moves so fast. So getting him slowed is like imperative to winning. Like, you just need to do that. And in the 2D version, very importantly, he's also susceptible to Tornado, which I don't know if you all...
Oh, holy shit.
Have you all used Tornado?
No.
I tried in a different... I can't remember if it was this, or maybe it doesn't work in my version of it, but I did try it because he was also throwing that. Or the
Dark Dragon uses Tornado.
Yeah, and the Dark Elf does as well, which basically just brings you into critical HP. So you have
brings you into one digit critical HP.
Yeah, like I think the highest I got was like 10 HP. I'm like, great.
Yeah. But you can use that on the Dark Dragon and take him down to like 5 HP immediately.
Damn, that's sick. That's so good.
Which, knowing that I could do that, I still lost the battle 2 more times because he can damage you so fucking quickly and game over you so fast that I wasn't able to have Tella do one move. I couldn't even have him do one cast because it's so hard.
Yeah, I used one of those bronze hourglasses, just assuming like, oh, if this works, great. If not, who cares? And then I I couldn't even really tell if it worked or not, but I was just like, I didn't really have too much trouble on my second turn because I was like, okay, this guy, I need to do as much damage as I can as fast as I can because this guy fucking sucks. So I already had Cecil and Sid like Berserk and Haste, and I was just like going ham on him after throwing the bronze hourglass. I was like, okay, this is manageable.
This is where I used the Bacchus wine on Yang to get a little bit more damage out of him and to have him like attack immediately because I knew I wanted him to attack every turn.
That's probably a better strat than using Focus. Like, I think I was using Focus, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
I mean, Focus can it'll make him hit harder, obviously. But I think
if you're
Berserk
fast and Berserk,
yeah. But yeah, just keeping Tella alive for that cast of Tornado was fucking hard enough. Now in the 3D version, he's still susceptible to slow. You can still do that. But you actually do have to fight him. He no longer is weak to Tornado. But if you can get Tella to cast Fire 3, he can do a fuckload of damage. The problem is, Tella is slow, casting Fire 3 is slow, keeping Tella alive for those 2 cycles is goddamn near impossible.
Goddamn, yeah.
Because again, if he chooses to physically attack Tella, that's it. That's it, right? You can cover with Cecil. I did cover with Cecil eventually when I got Tella back up, and then I did that. And then Cecil died immediately because his attack is strong enough to do that. But if you cast Fire 3 on him, Tella's magic and the fact that he's weak to fire will do enough damage that you can do over half of his HP. So you can like get him real far down real quick. And then it's up to you. You can choose how to do you want to attack the rest of the way or see if you can get another Fire 3 off to finish it. And both will pretty much do it. But again, he does so much damage that even doing that is a challenge.
Yeah.
So I had to put the battle speed on slow and wait and everything.
Boss hard. Boss
hard. Not Baby's challenge, he ain't.
No.
I was suspicious because when
you're saying he was sus?
or Gold I don't know what that means. Is that a chord thing?
Yeah, that chord thing. That's good. It's a good joke.
But Golbez and Kane were like, we have a situation with this crystal. We don't want to deal with it. So
oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
so
I forgot about that.
Yeah, if they don't want to deal with this, it's probably going to be
a nightmare. Yeah.
I thought they were just afraid of girls.
That too.
They're too nervous. They're really debuffed because they have Rosa with them, so it's 50% less effective
right.
because they
passes them a little note with can I borrow your crystal? Y or N?
Yeah,
check one.
And yeah. They circle no and send it back.
They send a DM being like, "Hey, can I borrow your crystal?" And then see typing happening from the ebots or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
And then immediately right back, "Oh, my cousin sent that, LOL."
Just ask them if we have the crystal, and they text them at 1 a.m. Hey, you up?
WYD.
WID. But yeah. So then we beat the dark elf. Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll never see him again.
The dark dragon is dead.
And we get his.
Was he a dragon or was he an imp? We'll never know.
You know what is dragon, but a big windy imp.
What is a dragon but a big windy anything?
What is anything but a miserable pile of secrets? It's fine.
What is anything but anything?
Ooh.
What does it all mean?
What's it all mean?
You heard it here first.
Okay, so here's the... So once we kill the elf, he's dead.
Once we kill the elf, he's dead.
Interesting if true. Yeah, I think he has some dialogue, right? He's like, oh, I was supposed to be immortal because of the crystal.
Yeah, he was like, no, how could that cursed sound reach this place? Is the weed.
He didn't know it was legal.
He hates weed. He hates notes.
Oh, fuck, he's
He's a
straight
fucking
edge.
square.
I hate this dude. And I like
He's
that,
like,
like
yeah, with the crystal, I was to have life eternal.
yeah, and I like that, like Cecil, like he doesn't point to the sky, but I imagine he like taps his heart and then points one finger toward the sky and goes, "Thanks, Edward." But he does say, "Thank you, Edward."
If you're up there somewhere, which he is because they're underground.
Oh, you know what? There's a whole scene that I did not get on the way back to Troia Castle.
Oh yeah,
Indeed. Did you all talk to Edward again?
No, I just went right to the airship, which kicks directly into a scene. I didn't even think of.
Oh,
going to
really?
Troia.
You did go right to the airship? Okay. I thought maybe you had to go back into the castle. There's like 2 scenes in the castle.
Interesting.
oh yeah.
So once we have the crystal, if we go back and talk to the Epopts, they're like, "Oh my god, you brought it back! You got the crystal. That's awesome!" And then Golbez's voice like rings throughout the hall, and he's like, "Oh, you've done well. Bring me the crystal. Get on your airship, and I'll show you what to do next."
Oh yeah, no, I did get that one, and then I went right to the. I don't think I went to Edward. I was like, "Thanks for saving my life, Dick."
Yeah, I didn't go to him. But if you go to Edward, apparently there is a scene where Cecil's like, "How did you know that song was going to break the spell?" And Edward's like, "Oh, I learned that song a long time ago while I was traveling as a bard. It is a melody used to ward off evil fae. I thought perhaps it might serve to disrupt his concentration." So, like, that's pretty great. And then, like, he and Tella have a moment, and I can't believe I missed this because I want to have a good Edward and Tella moment. That sounds amazing. Because Edward is like getting ready to speak to Tella, and Tella just says, "Dwell on it no more. Anna was happy to have been loved by a man who was as brave as you." And I was like, "Oh my god, that's incredible! That's such a
Very
good like."
sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. He says, Tella's still talking. He says, "All you need to concern yourself with now is your health. Rest and grow strong again. I will see that the debt for Anna's death is repaid with Meteor, and I shall do it for the both of us, Edward." And I was like, "Oh my god, that's so good! I love that. I love that."
That's
I
really
can't believe
good.
I didn't get it.
It's very nice.
It makes me cry a little bit. I got a little tear in my eye.
Edward is like, now I realize what Anna was trying to tell me, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking on that thing that she said to him when he had that vision of her.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I still can get this cutscene. Because as soon as I got on the airship and we go to the next area, I just turned the game off. I didn't save.
Yeah.
So
you can actually just when you get to the next area, you can just step on like a platform that just has you leave the airship, which is really funny because Golbez, like, I mean, I don't know if we're gonna get to this today on this episode, but you know, we know what our goal is, we know what we're doing and stuff. But Golbez is like, "You better hurry or her life might be in danger." And then I'm just like, I'm like, okay, and then I just like immediately go back down to land, like, to go hang out in fucking Troia.
Sick. Yeah, I got this pass. I'm gonna use it.
I was thinking about that too when I got the pass and had like the show and all of that, and just imagining like rescuing Rosa, and she's like, "Oh, Cecil, like, thank you so much for coming right away and not, you know, like taking any detours and everything." And it just flashes back to like Cecil like in the fucking like
in the
throne twice, like 2 times in a row, sneaking into the dressing room, and he's like, "Oh yeah, of course, you know, like of course I'm gonna come and get you right away." He looks over at Cheating Way, and Cheating Way gives him a thumbs up. "You're doing great, buddy."
It'd be really twisted if that's actually the reason they killed off Palamaporum. Was like, "Oh yeah, we're sending him to like a brothel. We should probably kill off these kids." So, not so you know, but like,
right, they'd have problems with that. Yeah,
you know, harsher vibes.
But yeah, like after this, if we get on the airship, we're immediately taken to the next area, right?
Right.
And I guess we'll leave that intro section for next time.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and end it here. So the next episode is going to be the Tower of Zot. Which, like, is it a floating tower? Is that what we're led to believe?
I guess so. I mean, we're all
I haven't gotten that far yet.
we step into the airship. We'll have a scene with Kane that we'll talk about in more details, and then the airship just kind of floats up. So
Yeah.
I guess it is floating above somewhere.
I get, yeah, I suppose. I don't know. Very weird.
It's right next to Dreams Anarchind, which is a real place in the canon.
Place on Earth.
Yeah. But that's all I have to talk about today.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Did
I got the Bard song augment in the 3D version.
Ah, very nice.
So we can sing a song without Edward, I guess.
Zot Sot Riot? No, not quite.
Y'all ever play with tubers and zots when you were a kid?
No, what is that?
This sounds like it's gonna
potato, right?
This sounds like it's gonna be a D's nuts joke. I'm really on edge because one of my friends, one of our friends, I should say, has been really going hard with those recently. Just getting me left and right. I was like, shit.
No, there's these little foam toys you can get when like it was a big 90s things you can kind of just build little weird creatures from.
Oh, interesting.
Tubers and zots. Yeah.
I don't think I ever did play with those. They're cute though.
Yeah, they're easy to. I chewed on them a lot.
They seem like something that would be a blast to chew on.
Oh, those are pretty cool.
That and plastic dinosaurs, fantastic to chew on.
Oh yeah, totally. So what's happening next week? We're going to the Zot.
We're zotting. We're tubing and zotting.
Part of this tower now belongs to Rosa because she's got Zotter's rights.
Very nice. But yeah, we'll do that next episode. I think that's going to be the whole episode, right? It's just Tower of Zot.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Until we, I guess, predictably leave.
No, we die here. It's the end of the game.
Yeah.
Final dungeon.
Speaking of Zots, my Google search brought up this image that I will send you guys that just says James Bond dog costume. Doesn't that just scream James Bond dog?
Oh, his little jetpack.
I was like, I guess the bow tie, but like I guess he does use a jetpack in like at least one of them.
Probably. I don't watch those movies. A friend of mine recently got married, and on the day of his wedding, he's really into Bond movies and stuff, like he and his brothers, and he had one of the Bond movies on while like everyone was getting ready, and then it ended, and then my one buddy Theo went to like where the movie was streaming from and searched Austin Powers and just put on Austin Powers instead, which is the much better option.
How about James Bond Jr. from the 90s?
Oh yeah, I haven't thought about that in a
vaguely remember
minute.
that.
Wow.
Also a Super Nintendo and Nintendo game.
Oh.
Wow.
Me and Curtis are going to speedrun it.
Yeah, there you go.
I like Troia.
I do too.
Troia is really cool. I like it.
I hope they turn out okay.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't go like every other place that we've been to recently.
You know, once we're in the Tower of Zot, like that's like all 4 crystals in the Tower of Zot, right? Like that's
We don't bring a fake crystal or anything like all the double crossing thing.
Damn, that would be smart.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
I
guess they're watching him though, because they immediately are like, "We see you."
I get the sense that like this party is not the brightest.
Yeah, for sure. They're scrambling too. I mean, understandably so. Like
I think when we had Rydia, we were a little bit smarter or whatever. Like she's like,
I think that just happens when you get a bunch of just dudes in one party at the same time.
We do have a very dudely party right now. That is very true.
Dudes rock.
Dudes rock.
If it's anything that was proven about how the only like functional society that is doing really well and is really cool is just the one place ruled by women.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say
just
that
a bunch of
dudes
middle-aged
rock.
men just walk in. Just like, yo, can we have your crystal?
Yeah. It's a band of doofuses.
This has got some real Big Lebowski energy to it now. Now that I'm thinking about it, this is just a fucking Coen Brothers movie.
Who's the Jeff Goldblum of our?
John Goodman?
Not John. Wait, wasn't it John?
John Goodman would be
John Goodman.
John Goodman would probably be Sid, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, he'd probably be Sid. You're right.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie. Shut the fuck up, Cecil.
See what happens, Cecil?
I don't know how I got him confused. I guess they're both J.
See what happens when you find a stranger on the Mount of Ordeals? You see what happens?
Yeah, so for next week's podcast, if you want to play along with us, watch The Big Lebowski. We'll convene here and talk about it.
Fuck yeah, let's roll.
Every effing BL. There's only 2 episodes. It's that and then bacon lettuce. Tomato. It's the sequel.
Fuck it, dude. Let's go choco bowling.
Go choco bowling. Do we have any announcements or anything?
Not really. You've been streaming.
I have been streaming. I started a little project that I think is kind of fun. That we'll see how long I go on it. But
a grand project.
Because like everything in my life has to be a giant project for some reason. Like I'm not allowed to do anything for fun. Like, like if I have free time, then I need to like make some grandiose deal out of it. That's just like the way that I am. But I made a list of 100 JRPGs. And if you say, hey, I saw it the other day, it wasn't 100, it is now. I made a list of 100 JRPGs, starting with Dragon Quest 1 and going to Persona 3, right? So like 1986 to 2006, so 20 years worth of all these like famous JRPGs. And I'm going to play them all in chronological order on stream. So like last night we played Dragon Quest 1 for 8 hours. And I'm like almost done with it. So tonight I'll probably be done with that and then start on to Digital Devil Story Megami Tensei. And we're just going to go. We're going to go all the way to Persona 3 and beat all of them in a row. And it's going to be a nightmare. So you should come watch at
hell yeah.
twitch.tv/TwirlandCurtis.
Do that.
Show up.
And yeah, the only announcement that I have is on November 5th through 7th, there's going to be the Speed Souls charity marathon, which is like an annual marathon. You may remember last year I did a race with Ashwin for Demon Tower, which I am also now at the time of recording this. So by the time you listen to it, it probably won't be the case anymore. But the world record holder of that game again.
For the third time?
I think it's like 3rd or 4th. I don't know. Yeah, I usually get it and then immediately get it taken away. So it's like the meme of like I guide people to the treasure that I cannot
what date
possess
did you say?
Or whatever. November 5th through the 7th is going to be a whole weekend of not just like Dark Souls or Bloodborne games or anything like that, but there's submissions are open to other games, so it's going to be super fun. I am going to be doing something in it, which I don't know if it's like announced just yet or anything, but it'll probably be on the Saturday or Sunday that I'm doing my thing, which I'll have more information about eventually. But yeah, mark your calendars. It'll be a good time.
I got nothing.
You got those cool pictures from the Centralia.
Oh yeah, I went to Centralia. It's pretty eerie.
Alex is busy slaving away in the pod mines.
Oh, I didn't realize it was right by Erie, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird because it's like bordering a town called Burnsville and another town called Asheville.
The hubris.
Alex, would you like to play us some arpeggios on your harp?
It's an RPG.
RPG.
Harpg.
Would you like to damn shouldn't have smoked that much weed? Now I'm in the Dark Elf's cave.
Yeah, sure. Thank you again to Night of the Round for the theme music. I hear they've been playing shows again. It's been great seeing pics from that. It's always good, wholesome seeing people play shows again. Thank you Nobuo Uematsu, Junya Nakano, and Kenichiro Fukui for the game music. There's a lot of really cool music this last few episodes I've noticed. Besides the Chocobo music, which always rules. Leave us a review on iTunes. That always helps get us noticed because people are always looking for new shit to listen to, it seems like. And you can leave us a message at 530 Materia and tell us about your man cave.
Tell us about your entirely mirrored man cave.
Tell us where you get your mirrors. We know a guy who's looking.
I'm looking at the elf in the mirror. You can find us at everyFNFF on Twitter, Instagram. You can join our Discord, which has been slowly bustling into a nice little community. People are talking about collecting. People are talking about cat pics.
Hell yeah.
People are talking about urban development, specifically Corey, and people who will indulge in talking about city development. And yeah.
Should have never smoked that shit. Now I'm in the FFIV podcast.
Good enough.
Good enough.
I'll take it.